3 years. That's how long I waited for my dad to reach out. When a letter finally showed up, my hand shook just holding it. His handwriting was burned into my memory, sharp, deliberate strokes, the same ones that used to guide me through school assignments. Every part of me wanted to rip it open and hear his voice written on that page. But my grandfather, my billionaire grandfather, stopped me cold. "Wait," he said, his eyes narrowing in a way that made my chest tighten. I asked what was wrong. He pointed at the corner of the envelope. "Can't you see?" At first, I thought it was nothing, but when I leaned closer, my stomach dropped. The seal wasn't my dad's, it was fake. That was when it hit me. My dad hadn't written this. Someone wanted me to think he had. Someone wanted me distracted, vulnerable. My dad had vanished when I was 16. No calls, no notes, nothing. My mom cried herself to sleep every night while I built walls around myself. The only one left standing with me was my grandfather, cold, ruthless, brutally honest. He raised me in boardrooms instead of playgrounds. I hated him for it once. But that night, when he stopped me from opening the letter, I realized his world had become mine. Because betrayal never walks in with a warning, it hides in the tiniest details. And I'd learned to notice them. I traced where the letter came from. It had been sent from a city my dad never visited. The paper wasn't the kind he used. And when I finally opened it under my grandfather's sharp gaze, the words didn't sound like him either. Too polished, too rehearsed, too fake. The message inside was short. "Meet me alone. I miss you." But I knew instantly that wasn't my dad's voice. It was my uncle's. The same uncle who once stole from my grandfather's company. The same uncle who vanished with the money and left my dad to take the fall. Suddenly, everything made sense. He wanted me to show up, unguarded. It was a trap. But I didn't cry. I didn't explode. I sat still, piecing it together like a chess match. If he thought I was still the helpless kid he left behind, he was dead wrong. I was my grandfather's heir now, and I'd prove it. So I started collecting evidence, financial records, offshore transfers, hidden properties tucked under shell names. Every breadcrumb he left, I followed. For weeks I pretended the letter meant nothing, but behind closed doors I was building his downfall piece by piece. My first move was quiet. I played along with his game. I wrote back, "I'll come, just tell me where." He thought he'd won. He set the meeting at some remote villa, but I was already miles ahead. I had lawyers, investigators, and security feeding me updates in real time. My second move cut deeper. I leaked anonymous tips to authorities in 2 countries pointing straight to his shell accounts. Then, without him knowing, I froze them. My third move hit personal. I had an old childhood friend, someone he once thought he could manipulate, pose as my ally. My uncle trusted him, never realizing he worked for me now. Through him, I spoon-fed my uncle just enough false confidence to blind him. By the time the night of the meeting came, he was convinced the board was his. What he didn't know was that I'd already flipped the board upside down. I walked into that villa completely alone. No guards, no grandfather, no safety net. Just me. My uncle greeted me with that smooth, fake smile, the one that used to trick everyone. "You've grown," he said, arms wide like he expected a hug. I didn't move. "Where's my dad?" I asked. For a split second, his eyes flickered. That tiny hesitation told me everything. "You'll see him soon," he lied. I slid the letter across the table. "This is your handwriting." His smirk cracked. "You can't prove that," he shot back. I leaned close, calm, steady. "I don't have to. The authorities already can. Your accounts are frozen, your partners are turning on you. Right now, your name is plastered across headlines you can't control." His face drained of color. Then I hit him with what he wasn't expecting. "My dad didn't just disappear. You buried him, in debt, in accusations, in lies, and now I'm burying you." That broke him. He lunged across the table, desperate, cornered, but I didn't even flinch. Hidden security swarmed in, pinning him to the ground as he shouted empty threats, promises he'd never keep. I stood there watching him thrash like a trapped animal. Then I leaned down and whispered the last words he'd ever hear as a free man. "You taught me to see betrayal. You taught me how to end it." The world watched my uncle collapse. His empire crumbled overnight, exposed as fraud. My dad's name was finally cleared, even if he never came back. Maybe he couldn't. Maybe he was already gone. But for the first time, I felt no anger toward him, only clarity. Because in that silence, I became something else. I'm not the child who once sat waiting for letters that never came. I'm the hand that writes the ending. And when I finally ripped that forged letter in two, I realized something. It wasn't just paper I was tearing apart. It was the last chain he had on me. And now, it's gone.